Hey everybody, it's Michelle LaVore and
Devin LaVore
coming at ya. And as always, we begin our videos with a huge thank you for everyone who just continues to support us. And as we're on this journey, it's just truly a gift from heaven. And if you would like to give, we do have the PayPal link below, and it's just really, it's kind of an always ongoing need for us. Just every week it brings just more time to see the Lord move. And so we just really encourage you, if you're blessed and would like to give, to go ahead and give. And just, again, a huge thank you for everyone who has given, continues to give.
This weekend was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Because we were like, we're needing a certain amount of money for today, on Monday. What is it? June 10th. It was like, well, we need this amount of money to be in there. And it just came in over the weekend. We're like, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, of course, we praise the Lord every day.
We really do.
For that very reason.
Yep. And and also a huge welcome to any and all new subscribers. We're so glad that you found us, and just hope and pray that really just through what God speaks through us, you are encouraged in your own walk with Him, and that, you know, it really is our heart that you're just pointed back to the Lord, and that, you know, He just moves in your own hearts and lives.
Yeah.
So with that said, we're going to start today's video.
Yes. We touched on this in a previous video regarding a God time that we had with our kids. But we figured it would be I really felt like the Lord wanted us to make an entire message about it today, because it is kind of a word from the Lord, you know. This is a message from His heart to us as believers. And you know, you have promises that that God's put in your heart. A vision, a dream, or something that's like, man, yeah, that really resonates with me, and I just feel like it's strumming the strings of destiny in my heart. Like, this is what I've been put on earth to do. And it's like, yeah, and so the Lord's been sharing with you over the period of time that you've known Him, however long that is. He's like, this is what I want to do. And I'm going to start with this. I'm going to do this piece here. And you have a vision and a dream and a promise, and the Lord said this. And it's just like, but then it's like the vision and the dream and the promise seems to be taking forever. And you keep waiting and hoping and dreaming, maybe this year. Oh, maybe this year, maybe this time, maybe that season, you know. And it's like, and so in reference to that, in light of that, we had a God time where I showed the kids this video. And now I'm just going to let you, we're going to just talk over this video, and we're going to let you guys experience this video clip that we're showing you here. Because it really is a great representation of how you can feel on the journey. Yeah. You get to these points where it's just like what you're looking at right now. Yeah. And it's just going on and on and on and on. And then, you know, I got to certain points in the video where I said, you know what, I'm just going to start fast forwarding this. I'm going to start hitting the fast forward button, you know? And that can be like us asking God for acceleration. And you get a prophetic word about acceleration, you know? And then it seems like things are going faster. There's evidence of like, oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that one. Oh yeah, we're going quicker. Oh yeah. Ooh, the promise must be around the corner. Look at all this prophetic word we're getting about this and about that and about this, and oh yeah, it's gonna happen. Look at we're speeding up and we're speeding up. And no matter how much acceleration God puts on it, you're still on the same road, driving the same path, and with apparently no end in sight. Because if you look at the video, you'll see it's like all I see ahead of me is road. Yeah. I just see road. Can I just see like maybe the outline of a building? The outline of some cityscape or some lights in the distance or something. You know what I'm saying? All I'm seeing is road and turns, and it's like, oh Lord, oh, there's a nice mountain. Nope, honey, I think that's the same mountain. Yeah. You know? It's like, oh my gosh. But we're going on this journey, and it feels like that. Because ultimately what we're looking for is this. Yeah, see, now that represents the fulfillment of the promise. It represents civilization. It represents, oh yay, activity. Cool things are going to happen. You know, there ain't nothing to do in the desert, but in this area, there's lots of things to do. Look around. There's all kind of cool stuff to do. It resembles life, whereas the desert resembles death. You know, and I think that's what the Lord does. He brings us out to the desert to die.
Yeah.
To die to ourselves, to die to our own agenda. Because your excitement, whether you realize it or not, it builds up expectations and when this is going to happen. Ooh, this is probably how it's going to happen. And it just gets built up really without us even knowing about it. That's why you got to go to the dentist. Because there's just this buildup that happens from eating. No matter how much you brush your teeth, sometimes you got to go to the dentist and get a little extra cleaning done. And so it's like God has to take us out to the wilderness to get some extra cleaning done. To get some extra hammering done. I mean, to really hollow us out. Really get all the dross of our own ideas and our own selfish expectations and desires and all that stuff. He does not remove the promise.
No.
He does not remove the dream and the vision and the hope and the expectation of His word being fulfilled. He doesn't remove that because He sends His word and it doesn't return to Him without fulfilling its purpose, right? But He sends us on this long, drawn-out journey because that long, drawn-out journey tests us. It refines us. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can go any further because I wake up in the morning and I keep going and all I see is more wilderness ahead of me. I'm done. It's like, are you done? Well, let's just keep going because we know this one fact. Even in these examples of these videos that we show, it's like if they keep driving on that road, they will get to civilization. That first clip was driving through the Nevada desert. Eventually, you will get to Las Vegas. The second clip was actually Hawaii. You can't drive to Hawaii, so that is fantasy. No, but I'm just saying, like, you will eventually get to the promise. You will eventually get there. But a lot of times, our 6-year-old son this morning, he was like, you know what, God, I do thank you for the journey because in order for us to get somewhere, we got to go through somewhere. Or no, or what did he say? How did he say it?
It's like in order to get
in order to get to something,
our promises,
you have to go through something. And I was like, look at you, little preacher. You know? In order to get to something, you got to go through something. I about danced. I'm not kidding. I was like, wow. That's like he does that all the time. He gets these little nuggets of wisdom from the Spirit. It's just like, wow, you do. So in order for you, like if you're going from Reno to Vegas, you've got to go through that road. You've got to take that long. Trust me, I've done it. It was a while ago, but man, going through Nebraska, oh my gosh, going through, I forget where we were going, but we had to go through a lot of the Nevada desert, and oh my gosh. It was like, please get me like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, unedited. Because this is like mega boring. I mean, and there's parts of it. Now, that's an interesting video, but there are parts of, because that has mountains. There are parts of the trip that we took, seriously, it was one straight highway with nothing but desert. At least there you got some mountains in that video that we showed. But the way we took, I think I was with the band at the time, and it was just straight road. That's it. And it was forever, and the speed limit was 55 miles an hour. I'm like, what you mean 50? We're going to do about 120. But it wouldn't matter how much you fast forward it. You're still, you're doing that for about 6 hours. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Some of you guys have been believing for 6 years. Some of you have been believing for 16 years, But it's like we know that if you keep traveling on that road, you will get to the destination point. So that's what I had. I had the lesser version. Now you're going to hear the real word from the Lord. I'm just kidding.
No. No, that's just really good. And, I just think that I think it's important also to just say, like, you know, when you are going on the road and you're in the desert with the Lord, that it's like you're with Him. And to take
He's
that
in the driver's seat.
Take that opportunity. It's really, honestly, the desert is an opportunity. Yes, you're tested and you're refined and all of those things. You die to yourself, but it's truly an invitation and an opportunity to get close with the Lord, to just get to know His heart. You know, it's like, and I think we can have a tendency, you know, like you were saying, it's like, all right, give me something. I need some sort of something to soothe my soul as I'm going through this, like, desert wilderness. And I think a lot of times that's what we're searching for. Yeah. But it's like,
we're searching for the comfort.
Yeah, it's like, let the Lord be our comfort. And it's like, it really can be a place where, you know, you come up out of the desert and you truly are just leaning on the Lord, leaning on your beloved. And that's really, I think, just the intent of God's heart, is that you would be leaning on Him in a way you've never done before. And so I think it's important.
We're there.
And during those, during that time, to take that opportunity and say, Jesus, Lord, I'm just, whatever you want to say, that's what I'm gonna be open. You know, whether it's revealing things that are in your heart, or, you know, just going through those hard times, and because it's a growth and maturity time. And you know, I mean, even Jesus Himself, He was in the desert for 40 days. He did a literal desert, you know, and fasting, and He was tested beyond, you know, I think anything that any of us could ever handle. But He was able to go through it. But it's like, so the Lord tests all of us. He refines all of us. So there's just that, I don't know, just that refining time that the Lord just wants to really just take us through when we're in the desert. And we can truly just come to appreciate that time and really cherish that time with the Lord. And yes, it can be difficult, because you're just like, this is like, feels like it's never going to end. But eventually the Lord is like, yes, it will end. And
if you keep going. Let me drive.
Oh, and that's all. I was trying to track what I was going to say, but I just remembered. But yeah, and I think we've been doing just kind of talking about with our kids, and just with the Rick Joyner book that we've been listening to, with just in regards to building. You have the foundation of God, and then you want to build your house, you know, His house upon it. And in our life, we can be building with wood, hay, and stubble, or we can be building with gold, silver, and jewels, things that will last. And I really believe that the time in the desert, He uses that to purify us, so that we can be building with the materials from heaven that are going to last. And that the house that's being made, when it comes to our time when we stand before the Lord and it passes through the fires of heaven, is going to actually come out on the other side. And that our life, we can actually rejoice, because our life that we've lived here on earth has purpose, and it was for the glory of God. And that we don't have to stand before Him, you know, like, well, my whole life just burnt up. I am saved, but every aspect of my life that I thought was building for you wasn't for you. And it's like, God's like, I have this time where, if you can just see it as, wow, because you set aside this time in your life to go through the fire here on earth, then when your life goes through the fire in heaven, it's like you're going to come out on the other side, and there's going to be jewels, and there's going to be treasures that you'll be able to cast at the feet of Jesus.
And you'll get to sit where the overcomers sit.
Exactly. And so that's really what the Lord, His heart's desire is. You know, God is a good Father, and His heart's desire is that He wants to just He wants us to be able to overcome. He wants to have us sit in the seats that He's prepared for us. But it comes through allowing him to work in our lives right now, allowing him to take us through the fire, take us through the testing, and, setting aside this time, however long it is, and just really working. And I think if anything,
let him drive.
Yeah, in the last
let him do the driving.
I think every week I feel like I just become more and more grateful and thankful for this time that the Lord has taken us through. Even 2 years ago, it would have just...
dependent. For me, I just become more and more dependent on wow, I really get the credit for nothing.
Yeah.
And God's like, you don't need the credit. It's not yours. It has nothing to do with you. I bought you. Come hang out with me. Are you hanging out? Do I have your heart, Devin? Yes. Mission accomplished.
Yep.
You don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
Just come hang out. Just be in me and let me be in you. And that's the whole point. From my perspective, that's the whole point. You got to be doing something. You know what I'm saying? Something significant that sets you apart. Oh, this is what I did for the Lord, or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just become more and more dependent every week. Kind of like you're becoming more and more grateful. I just wanted to throw that on there.
Yeah. And just like, because even 2 years ago, it's like, wow, Lord, I just know for a fact, my heart, everything, it was not ready for what you have in store for us. And it's like the Lord, He determines, He determines all things. When you're ready, all of that. But it's not really even about always being ready for something. I mean, the Lord always is going to prepare you, strengthen you, and direct you. Always.
But you're saying that's not the central focus.
But that's not the central focus. It's like, it really is all about relationship with the Lord and learning how, and just loving Him, experiencing His love and the fellowship and just like the deep intimacy that God wants to have with us right now. He's like, you don't have to wait to heaven to experience me and the love that I have for you. I want you to experience it right now. And that was the whole point. Jesus, He came to die. He's like, I brought you salvation, but I also brought you life. I literally am bringing the kingdom of heaven down here on earth, and it can live right inside of you. And you have access to it every day, all day long. And so it's just...
where are you in a hurry to get to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's part of what gets worked out on the journey.
As you go on the journey. And that's the thing, too. It's like, it's a journey. There's growth, there's maturity. It's like a lot of these things that the Lord has been working on in our hearts, they're not just an overnight, suddenly I've completely changed. No, it's been...
Or an over year.
Yeah, it could be 2 years, 3 years. Oh, wow, you know what I realized? God's been working this in me for the past 7 years. It's like that that's how He works, and He brings us into maturity. And so I just wanted to put that on there. It's actually not even what I was going to talk about, but yeah.
I know, like, as I'm saying stuff, I can tell you're going, ooh, yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got to talk about all this right here first.
It's like, I got a plate full.
Plate number 2.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So something else that, we were talking this morning, and it just... I think was really encouraging for me, and I hope for you guys it's encouraging as well. I actually read this scripture, probably maybe a week and a half ago, somewhere around there. But it was just brought up again today, and it's from Judges, and it's chapter 20. And the scenario is just, really honestly, it was devastating for the Israelites. One of the tribes, they had to go against that tribe, the tribe of Benjamin, because of the wickedness. There were some sin issues going on, and they wouldn't come and really just humble themselves before God. And so Israel had to go against them. Now, basically, what ends up happening is Israel goes up, and they prayed every time before they went up. And
that's the key part.
This is the key part. They prayed. They said, Lord, should we go against the tribe?
Because it's one of our own brothers. This is like the tribe of Benjamin. How can we go up against them? But it's like something has to be done because they did something really bad. And so they're like, Lord, should we go up? And the Lord says, yes, so send Judah first.
And so they're like, okay, going up. And that day, Israel lost, I think it was 18,000 people. And they come back and they're just like, they didn't get the victory. And
because anytime there's this an expectation.
Yeah.
Anytime you ask the Lord, you seek Him, you inquire of Him, you're laying your life as, should we do this or not? We're going to put this before you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear from the Lord like, hey, no, go up.
Mm-hmm.
Do something about this. Okay, then the Lord is with us and He's going to do something.
He's going to give us the
That's
victory.
just that natural. It's a natural expectation.
Mm-hmm.
So then to have the result that they got was devastating.
Yeah.
On a deep heart level.
Yeah.
You know?
And so, yeah, it was actually 22,000, I think, is what they lost. And
the first time?
The first time. And then, so they pray again and ask the Lord, should we go up? And He says, yes, go up. And so they go up a second time.
But this time all of you go.
And
right? Or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But it's basically like they went up again. And this time they lost 18,000.
Jesus.
And so they just come and they're just like, wow, we're just like literally they spent the rest of the time fasting, the rest of the day fasting and praying and weeping, because they were like, well, maybe it's because at that time the covenant of the Lord was in Bethel.
Oh, the Ark of the Covenant?
The Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
Was in Bethel, and that was like, you don't come up against the Ark of the Covenant, like, you shouldn't do that. Yeah. And so they're like, maybe this is why. You know, we keep hearing the Lord. And so they're praying, and then, so I wanted to just read this. This is the third time that they're asking the Lord, should we go up? And it's Judges chapter 20, verse 27 and 28. So basically it says, and the Israelites inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there at Bethel in those days. And I don't know how to say that name.
What verse are we at?
28.
Oh, Phineas.
Go ahead, read all the
verse
names.
20. Okay. Okay, and Phineas, son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, ministered before it in those days, saying, shall we yet again go out to battle against our brethren, the Benjamites, or shall we quit? Oh, Jesus. Mm-hmm. Whoa, you know I'm struggling right now. There's a preach that's just ready to burst forth. Anyway, and the Lord said, go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into your hand.
Yeah. And so it was just like, here they are again, the third time, just, okay, Lord, should we go up or should we quit? Like, is this just for nothing? Like, I mean, we've
getting our butts kicked.
We've been listening to you. We're going, you know, we feel like we've heard from you.
Jesus.
We've done what you've asked us to do, but we keep losing, you know? And so the Lord was just like,
glory.
No, go up, because I am going to give you victory. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened. You know, they go to battle. He gives them, you know, the strategy on how to defeat them, and they have victory over the Benjamites. And it's just like for us personally, it really resonates with our heart, because, you know, when before we moved here, it was just like, Lord, do we move to Nashville? Is it time to go? And it was just like, all right, it's time to go. It's time to go. And so we come, and we were expecting the victory. You know, victory for us would be the fulfillment of the promise. We would receive the house that we've been believing for, and all of that. And it was like, we came here, we got here, but we didn't receive the victory. And then it just, you know, kept going, and, you know, and we're just...
2017 was like that first request that they had.
Yeah.
And then we go up, but it's like, we come... At the end of the year, we did move here at the end of 2017, but that was it.
Yeah.
We moved here. And so in that, there was a great suffering and a great loss. I'm just like, wow. And you can see it in some of our videos.
Yes.
When we first got here, it was just like, we were excited. And then we even went and checked out the house that we believed was from the Lord for us to believe for. And it's completely empty to this day. It's empty.
That we know of.
That we know of, but still, it's empty. No one lives there. That family, I guess because they grew up, you know, the kids grew up or something and they moved. Whatever the case is, we don't
Mm-hmm.
really know.
We don't know.
We don't know. Michelle's giving me the just move on, the move on nod. Like, no, just don't. You're getting on a tangent, Devin.
Yeah, don't go there. We don't know.
And so then I got on a tangent about me getting on a tangent. But anyway. Where's my blue tape? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was just devastating. So it's like they suffered loss. And it's like we really felt like we suffered loss in 2017 as well, you know.
And then there was a point in 2018 where it was just like, whoa, okay, Lord, is this the time to basically, do we go up again, as far as just like, all right, I think this is the breakthrough for us. And again, it was just this moment where it was like, all right, things we believe that this is going to be the time, this is going to be the year for us to receive our home. And again,
and then that 7 cycles of 7 weeks thing, it was like down to the letter. And it was just like, wow, okay, this is really cool. And I mean, so many cool things were happening. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, okay, nothing significant, miraculous parting of the waters is happening to get us to our home. Oh, and then 2018 ended.
Yeah. And so again, there was just this like,
oh my gosh,
loss, you know, and it, you know, it's like we took it better in a way, but there was still like a significant loss in the heart. And again, it's like there are times when you feel like, man, Lord, I've been believing and believing and believing. Is it time for me to quit? Is this really what you want me to be doing? Should I be going after this promise anymore? It's just...
Is this real? Were we deceived? Because that's naturally what you're going to ask if the Lord has told you twice now to go up against this thing and you're expecting victory, and both times you get crushed.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there were some really significant things that happened in 2018 that the Lord himself led us into. That we were like, oh my gosh, there's no way this can't be the Lord. It's really actually happening. And then it was like, nope. It was like, I mean, the level of devastation that went through our hearts when things fell apart was just like, I do not even know what to believe or say or do.
Yeah.
But I do know the Lord, and I'm going to him. That was our whole family.
Yeah.
We're like, we don't know what to do, but our eyes are upon you. That whole 2 Chronicles 20 thing, like, that's what we're going to do. And then the Lord continued to lead us and do what he was doing. It's like this is actually all a part of the plan. Yeah. I just can't tell you that yet.
Yes. Because maybe you'll want to stop now because it's like, oh,
this is totally all a part of the blueprint. Totally all a part of it.
Yes.
I just can't tell you everything just yet, but I need you to believe in me.
Yes.
Believe in who I am and my goodness toward you. But that's all I can say. Come on, let's go through another suffering real quick.
Yeah.
It's like, no. But for you, Lord, I will.
Yeah.
We will. And we did.
Yeah, and so it's like now we're sitting here. This will be, into 2019. Really, what we would consider like the third section, the third year of this particular part of our journey that he's had us on. And it's like, okay, Lord, if you want us to go up again, and this is what you are saying, and you are saying, I'm going to give you victory, then that's what we're going to believe for.
And also, that kind of brings me back, or when you were talking about all of this, it reminded me of the word the Lord gave us at the beginning of the year. And it's like, and it's one of those things of like, oh, here we go again. I don't want prophetic words for the year and what the year is going to be like, and then have it not turn out. The way, it's like, no. And so the Lord gave us this word at the beginning of the year. It comes from Hosea chapter 6. And it was really kind of just kindness and goodness of God to show us, like, listen, this is what I've been doing. You don't understand. I am doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I am doing. It's like with them on the third time. It's like, this is part of the plan. The third time on the third day. Come on now, somebody. On the third day, I am going to give you victory. And they did have victory on that third day, right?
Yeah.
Joshua was like, go prepare yourselves, guys, for on the third day, the Jordan's going to part.
Yeah.
On the third day, Jesus was resurrected. There's a lot that happens on the third time and the third whatever. And so it says in Hosea chapter 6, verse 1, "Come and let us return to the Lord, for he has torn so that he may heal us. He has stricken so that he may bind us up. After 2 days he will revive us, quicken us, give us life. On the third day he will raise us up, that we may live before him." So it was like the Lord was saying, see, on that first year, I was tearing you and healing you. On 2017.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in 2018, I was strickening you, but I was binding you up. You know, I was
so true.
I was afflicting you. You can add, you can jump in. I don't need to be the only interrupter in this video, but but it's like on the third day, the Lord's like, the third day this year, this is going to be the year where I raise you guys up and I build you. And I tell you what, we're into June, and that has absolutely been true.
Absolutely, yeah.
100%. And God gave you that vision about that big, huge storm. And it was like, that's your 2017 and 2018.
Yep.
And it was like, that's past. And it's like, you're not going to feel that again. You know, at least maybe not for a long while or whatever. He didn't say anything like that, but it was like, that is past. It's over.
Yeah.
And he was saying to you, like, you'll still feel some rain and some, a few storms here and there, but nothing like that.
No, yeah. And, well, and it's also like God's been speaking to us really from the beginning of the year to, hey, you've trusted me to take you through the hard things. Now can you trust me to bring you into the good places, into great things?
Yeah.
And it really is kind of that idea of like, man, we've been defeated twice. Lord, this is just feeling so like,
now my heart is kind of expecting you to lead me into
failure. Lead me into failure, but he's like, no, I'm saying you're going to have victory. Are you going to believe me for the victory that I have for you?
And that's the greater faith. Because we did a video about that very thing, and it was about having the greater faith. Well, what's the greater faith for? You actually need greater faith to believe that God's actually going to deliver you into the promise he spoke over your life. Because it's kind of easy to believe, oh, well, we're going to hear from the Lord. He's going to lead us. It's not going to turn out, but then we're going to learn something spiritual out of it. Thank you. What's the next year?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's like, for this year, I mean, it's very much been the Hosea. I mean, each of those years have just been pretty much exactly those things.
Yeah.
There was a tearing apart in that first year. Yeah. And just like what God was doing and how he was just and tearing apart, meaning just like taking,
like when they say rending the heart.
Yeah. Like,
getting some stuff out.
Yeah, and it was just like, whoa,
Dr. Pimple Popper.
These,
ooh, look at that pus.
Ideas of who you think God is and
who you think
you are.
Yeah.
And just like really just taking that apart.
Yeah.
And then that next year of just like he was strickening us, which really did happen, but at the same time binding us up. And I really believe that. Like there was a binding of just
happened.
Like our hearts to him and really just seeing like
a solidification of the vision he put in us.
Yes.
Because we had to go through a time where the vision was challenged in our own hearts, and God was saying, see, look it, I bring something into your life that seems like it's going to be able to fulfill the promise, and you're getting all loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're willing to do whatever you can, and well, as long as we get into the house, we're fine. It's like, no.
Yeah.
That's not.
Well,
that's why I had to bring you through this to solidify. So it was a strickening, but at the same time, there was a binding and a solidifying of who we are and what we're called to do and what God's going to supply for that. We don't have to compromise and that was a whole summer long thing.
Yeah. And then just came out of it just really grounded and in the vision that God is like, no, this is what I've placed upon your life, and he's just built upon that. And so that it's like even now it's like, wow, okay, we really are seeing like who God has made us to be, and there has just this whole year has really just been a building up.
It has,
and in so many ways. And it's like
God's like, don't you see, I gotta do all of that first before I put you in the house, before I put you in the blessing, before I put you in the promise. It's like with David and Joseph. It's like, I got to do a lot of stuff in you guys first. Before, David, I got to do a lot in you, bro, before I put you on a throne to govern my people. Like, that's, you don't even realize the weight of the responsibility of what I've called you to do.
Yeah.
And I do, so I'm going to take you through what I know needs to happen to get your heart right.
Yeah.
So that your heart is in the right position to always be humble before me and walk. And it's the same thing with Joseph.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to take you through some hardship, and then I'm going to bring you out of it, but you will be better off as a result.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Can I read something else? It's from it kind of ties into this. It was also part of that word that he gave us at the beginning of the year was Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 10. It says, "See, I have this day appointed you to the oversight of the nations and of the kingdoms." Now listen to this. To root out and pull down. That was 2017. To destroy and to overthrow. That was 2018. And then he's like, this is your 2019. To build and to plant. And it was like, and God began to show us that pattern of the cycle of 1, 2, 3, and the first 2 were terrible.
Yeah.
But the third one was like, yes, this is gonna be great. It's like Jesus. What did he have? He had like 3 years basically of ministry. 1, 2, 3, right? But then like, when did he raise from the dead? On the 3rd day. And so he was just showing us a lot of these cycles of like, this is what's been going on, but this is the end. Remember? Focus on the end. And that was kind of like the gist of our God time this morning. The Lord was like, you got to focus on the end. Strip off all this stuff that's trying to distract you and entangle you and all that. Just like focus on what I'm saying, who I am, what I'm promising, but also you can have victory in here right now because I'm with you.
Yeah.
And you know that I'm with you, and anything that is going to trouble your heart, I am here to untrouble it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and so it was just, so it was really cool because this morning it was just like, all right, like you're saying, stay focused on the end. And the fact is that there is an end.
Yes.
There is that. There
is a Hawaii in the future. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
There is the receiving of the promises that the Lord has for our lives. This is not a never-ending saga or story.
Never-ending story.
Well, especially when you continue to just listen to the Lord and cooperate with Him as He takes you through the desert. And He's like, all right, I can lead you into the land of the promise that I have for your life and what I want to do. And I don't know, it's definitely been just such I feel like those pictures for us are very clear of just like, this is what He's been doing and just how He's continuing to move. And it is like, all right, now we're putting our belief and our trust in the fact that it's like, okay, God, you said this year is going to be a year of building and planting. And He's been doing that in our heart. I feel like He's planted a lot of seeds in our heart. And He's been building us up.
All of May, wasn't it? Remember, you kept saying that. You were like, man, I feel like May, God's just putting all these seeds in our heart. And just like, here I am, Lord, fertile soil. Just put them in.
Yeah.
I know that they will sprout at some point.
Yeah, and I just feel like there's just more that He wants to do.
Yeah.
Especially since there are other things that we've talked about before with like our road trip and things like that I feel like are very specific to the movement of what God wants to do with us.
I'm already like, Lord, the road trip? It's already June. Are you sure you want to? Is this going to happen? You know what I mean? But it's like, it's funny how you can approach that. Last year, I would have probably maybe been stressed out about it.
Yeah.
But this year, I'm just like, your timing, your way, do your thing. I'm not even worried. I'm not even concerned. And that's one of the reasons why God has to take us through stuff.
Yeah,
so that we can mature.
Well,
really.
and we can just trust. It's like, if God has said that and put it upon our hearts that He wants to do that, He's going to do it.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to know the when and
we don't have to make it happen.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, Lord, well, maybe you're just giving us a really in advance heads up for where you're taking us.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's just, it's been, I really have appreciated, this morning and even back when we first got, kind of the 1, 2, 3s from the Lord, of just how he really works, and just he always has a plan and a purpose. And even if the road seems like it's never going to end, there is an end in sight, but that it's like during that journey we can truly learn how to appreciate what he's doing. And it's like, well, how do you learn? Honestly, it's because you experience the love of God and you grow in a deeper appreciation of who he is and how he moves. And it's like it can come just out. It's not something that it's like, all right, well, if I study, then I'll learn about the Lord. It's like, no, it's just walking with him through the desert creates just this heart of deep appreciation of just who God is and how he moves and how he takes us really from one level of glory to the next. Because each level he continues to take off the veil, to remove the things in our lives and our hearts that are hindering us from really seeing who he is. And it's like, that's what he wants more than anything.
And that's a process.
Yeah. And it is a process, but it's like the Lord, he works, and he's going to continue to move as long as you continue to say yes, and just you will arrive at your destination.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome.
Were you guys encouraged?
I hope so.
We were.
Yeah.
We're like, wow, Lord. It's like, hey, we went up the first 2 times and suffered. We're still here. We're still praising you. We're still worshiping you with real, true, genuine, in spirit and truth worship. It's like because you are our one and only. Mm-hmm. We're not looking to a promise to be our salvation. We're looking to the promiser. Mm-hmm. So here we go. We know eventually if we just keep on riding, we will get to civilization at some point. But keep on doing what you're doing while we're here on the trip. You know what I mean? So it's all a journey. We're not going to stop journeying with God just because it goes from the wilderness to a promised land, to a land flowing with milk and honey. You know what I'm saying? So we hope you guys are blessed by that. Did you have any closing words?
No, just pray that you guys are encouraged and, to just keep going, have that patient endurance, and really just use this time that you're in the desert as just an opportunity to just love God with more of your heart than you ever have before. And just to really, truly see his goodness in your life because he's taking you through the desert.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Mm-hmm. So until next time, guys, pray that you guys are blessed, and we will see you again soon.
Yep. Bye, guys. Love ya.